Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and today we are finally going to get to those cliffs on the front of our base. Let me just come out here. These cliffs, oh yeah, those cliffs, they're getting a makeover. Oh my gosh, do I do that? They're getting a makeover. Haha. So today we're going to be working on those cliffs on the front of our build. I think I'm about to land on the apartment building. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, I'm short. Oh, okay. Well, this is an angle. Today, we're going to be working more on our base area, mostly just on the front of the cliffs over there. We're going to be transitioning it over to our White Cliffs of Dover idea. I sort of hinted at that in episode 1. But a little bit later on, we're going to be actually taking up the bulk order that Simon put in at the end of our last episode, which was for a bulk order of black dye. And I said this in the last video, but the whole thing with black dye is there's only really two ways to get it. One is by killing squids. The other way to get black dye is with a wither rose farm. And that's where things get a bit more challenging. To make a wither rose farm, we're gonna really, to make it efficient anyway, we're gonna need to go to the end, but we're gonna do that a little bit later. For now, we really are going to be just sort of undertaking a huge task. The whole idea of doing the cliff build, or rather the cliff makeover, is to just sort of bring this base up to a more majestic standard than what currently exists. Now, I love the layout of this cliff face. I don't really want to change the formations, but I do want to make it a bit more of a geological anomaly in having all of those white palette blocks. So this is the block palette that I think I'm going to be going with. It's going to be white concrete down at the bottom, then calcite, then polished diorite, and then white concrete powder at the top. So the idea is to get as much of this done in today's episode as possible. I'm going to be condensing it into time-lapse form. So without further ado, let's get going, shall we? Let's go. Well, that was one heck of a time lapse. Holy, what was probably like a minute 30, a minute 40 for you all was about 5.5 hours of continuous mining and placing blocks and going over to my skeleton farm and refueling my tool's durability so that I could continue mining and placing blocks. So the end result of all that is what you're about to see. And if you can remember what it looked like before, which you probably can because you just watched that time lapse, it was stretching all the way over here, mostly stone. See, I missed a couple spots, but that's okay. I haven't run out of this stuff, but I definitely want to step away from this project for a little bit. But this was all stone and andesite and diorite and gravel and dirt, and I've just replaced it and added in these layers similar to that you'd find in a mesa or a badlands biome, whatever you choose to call it, with the terracotta. But instead we've replaced it with all these white palette blocks. And I left the dirt up top because I wanted to leave the impression that, you know, stuff still grows at the very top of cliffs in a lot of cases. And we have, like, you know, there's fields and there's flowers and there's foliage all over the tops of these cliffs, but the bottoms, as we go out and about and we go down, it gets more and more condensed into these blocks that have very little give, if you think about it in a geological sense and not a Minecraft sense. But in this case, I just love how it turned out. And actually, let me throw in shaders real quick. So as you can see with shaders on, this just gives a whole new impression. It all blends so seamlessly, and it just looks so awesome. And that's not just like me tooting my own horn or like pounding my own chest or beating my own drum, but like I'm just really proud. And I didn't really do much here. I'm going to be honest with you. I really didn't do that much. I simply replaced the blocks in the positions that they already were. There might be a couple of places where I made some slight adjustments, but like all of this is pretty much exactly how it was, just with different blocks on it. So I'm just really pleased with how everything came out. Let me show you around what I've been working on though during downtimes when I need to step away from this project. So I'm gonna leave the shaders on just for this part. Nobody else is on, so I'm not really lagging. So this path was already here. I added like a pathway with slabs, so you don't have to jump up any blocks to get up from the beach. I'll probably put in something down there eventually. I just don't know yet. I don't know yet what I want to do. I've just started to figure out what I kind of want to do for a mega build. In the meantime though, I've also been just sort of patching up this area and trying to continue this path up. I made a little pathway up to our apartment build and future builds. I've got a few ideas for that I'll start putting in over the next several episodes. And I did something similarly over here with this path as well, up to Goosehenge and our nether portal. Briefly, I'll just fly over and you can see that I added some purple glass up top. I think I alluded to that at a previous episode. And then, like I just said, I've just been prepping for some bigger eventual builds, getting really squared away with how I want to approach a potential mega build in the coming episodes. So I'm just really excited for like how this base is starting to shape up. I just think those cliffs were the last step I needed to bring this base out of starter territory and moving it into the larger, full, big base idea that I wanted to get into from the beginning. And with that, let's get to the end and start work on our Wither Rose farm, because we need to pay that. You can see it behind me. We need to pay that bulk order as soon as we can. Hey y'all, so we are here in the end, and basically what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the spot where I want to build the Wither Rose farm. So as you can see up there behind us is the end gateway. We're going to go through the end gateway. We're going to go out to the outer end, and we're going to find a spot that has two end gateways relatively close together, because we're going to be constructing basically two farms in order to make the Wither Rose farm. But once we do this, we'll have all of the black dye we could possibly need, and we'll be able to fulfill that bulk order that Simon asked for. Anyway, let's get going. We're over here at an end gateway, and we are going to get started on our build. So right here, there's an end gateway here, and then over there through the chorus fruit, maybe if I move a little bit, over there through the chorus fruit is another one. So I wanted to find a spot where there were two end gateways relatively close together. There was actually another spot that had two end gateways like literally within 5 blocks of each other, and that's a little too close. Having the that end gateway available to us for leaving would be ideal, and having this one low down is actually really ideal for us. I'm gonna be using Shulkercraft's Wither Rose farm for 1.16 and onwards. Pretty basic. We're going to be making an Enderman farm drop into the Wither's line of fire, and it's going to produce a ton of Wither Roses. So let me get going. So really fun thing. I didn't know this before I looked up this this guide, but oh, I've just aggroed an Enderman. Oh. Lag. I just started building again because I forgot to start back up the video where I left off, start back up the recording where I left off. But I am currently building an Enderman spawning platform, which is about 44 blocks above a hopper up there that is above our end portal. I was clearing the end portal when I accidentally looked at an Enderman, and I didn't realize that I wasn't fully kitted up, and then the game lagged slightly. Now, I'm not just claiming that it lagged, but it did lag slightly, and I thought I was killing the Enderman, and I was already dead. But anyway, I am going ahead and picking up where I left off, which is just to keep building this platform for Enderman to spawn. One of the things that I'm going to have to do later, and it'll be probably one of the last things I do, is to sort of spawn proof the area immediately around this. And I have water buckets with me, so I'm going to be using water buckets to basically clear out all of the area in this direct vicinity so that Enderman will spawn more above this end portal and then fall down into it. I'll be using an endermite to get them to lure them over, and then they will fall down. But I'll pick back up when I get everything in place, and you'll see what I mean. So a lot has happened, and I've actually just reached the point where it's time to summon the Wither, and I've just triggered an Enderman. So let me fly away real quick. I guess this is a good opportunity to show. I've got an endermite in that minecart, and then we've got a drop for Endermen who are triggered because I have just looked at them. Okay, here goes something. That should stop the explosion. Now I remove that, and the Wither should lock on to the chicken. Oh, once I remove the block. Now it should lock on to the chicken. Perfect. And now we do that. And now... Oh, I got a Wither Rose. Okay. Things are happening. Now I go up to my AFK spot, way up here in the sky. And we wait. But as you can see, Endermen are going to start spawning in on that platform. Notice the Endermite and start going into that thing. So, okay. It seems to have worked. I have a Wither Rose, and oh man, I have died at least 3 times doing this. Once to Enderman, twice to an Endermite, and just trying to get the Endermite where I needed it to be. But this has been an arduous process, and so now I'm going to give this I'm just going to do an AFK session for just a few minutes, and then we'll just see what we get out of a few minutes, and then we'll do a full AFK to see what we can get. Whew! Oh boy! All right, just look at them go. This is gonna be pure profit. I forgot to show off the finished Wither Rose farm, and right now I've got shaders on, and I just love what the complementary shaders do for the end. It just makes it feel so much more alive than the empty void that it really is in vanilla. Here, as we approach the location of the Wither Rose farm, you can see the Wither name pop up there. You can't really see it very well, but there's water down here, and this thing has been putting in work, and I realized a little after I finished this farm, finished being the operative word, finished in air quotes, after I finished this farm, that I actually had forgotten to do the thing I said at the very beginning of building this farm, which was to spawn-proof the bottom of it. And I AFK'd here for 3 hours and got 11 Wither Roses. And that's because I'd forgotten to spawn proof. And so I spawn proofed, and then I saw my rates increase to about, I AFK'd for another hour, and I got about 30. And I just knew that something was still wrong. And it turned out that I built this platform that I'm standing on. I built it 1 block too high, and most of the Endermen were despawning before they hit the ground. So the rates on this farm, the way I had it up until I realized that, were dreadfully low. And since then, oh boy, they are way, way up. So let me just show you what I got after 30 minutes of of waiting here. Yeah, so 30 minutes produced a shulker box full of wither roses, and we are going to deliver this to Simon. And we need to figure out the funniest thing we can say. But as you can see down there, the Endermen are, getting aggroed on the Endermite that's in that minecart, and they're falling down. And let's go down to the bottom, and I'll show you what it looks like in that chest. Those chests. I have 3 chests at the bottom. I think I need more. Make that 4. Make that 4 chests. So that bottom one is full. Middle one is full. Oh boy, I think it's all full. Oh, it's filling up. So a big supply of ender pearls and a big supply of wither roses. I'm never gonna want for black dye or ender pearls ever again. I come here AFK for 20 minutes and I'm set. We're gonna get back and we're gonna go deliver this shulker box full of wither roses. And yeah. From there, our duty as a black dye monger and a black dye merchant is complete. So let's go. So we're back over here at the Pirate Cove, and clearly he has been doing some work. I believe he just said that he finished it, and finished with a capital F. I'd say he's done quite the job detailing here. This is looking amazing. I know I just put the shaders away, but let me put them back on. This place. Yo, shaders really do a build like this justice. Like, look at that. That's just with the sun behind it. Oh, there's glass. No, those are honey blocks. Oh, those are honey blocks. That's cool. That makes, oh wow, because they're transparent blocks or they're translucent blocks. But yeah, he's done quite the work, quite the bit of work back here. Got nothing in here. I don't know what his plan is, but I saw those in the video. Ribbit. There's some frogs back there. Anyway, I dropped him off in advance of wither roses, so I'm gonna go ahead and pay the rest here. We'll throw the sign on. There we go. And I don't think he can miss that. It's so bright. Bulk order delivery. Bulk order delivery. Love Samuel, dude. And obviously it has the full shulker box full of wither roses, which he will almost certainly be using for black dye. I don't think he would have us do the hard part just to make a wither skeleton farm. Now, would he? Now, you wouldn't do that to me, right? 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 Anyway, we're gonna go back to our base, and we're just gonna do some little pick-me-ups. Like, I'm just gonna spend some time cleaning up a little bit, and I'll show you a little bit more of what I want to do as we move toward a mega build idea. So we're back over at the base, and I really just want to get you all acquainted with what I have in mind for a potential mega build. So let me take you over to where I'm thinking. As we come up and go over our apartment area, the sort of beginning stages of a greater habited area, we have our greenhouses down here, and I'm going to put another one in over there, a sort of auxiliary greenhouse. I've got a couple more of these flower farms I want to build, but up there we'll have another build. We've got several builds planned out, but nothing sort of to tie them together until maybe this idea that I have in mind. So coming over here to this bay is a place that I've had in mind for a potential end point of my area. The space I inhabit on this server is pretty vast. Like, my base area is not small. I sort of want to set a boundary for where I think I could basically build effectively. With Simon sort of finishing his starter base, and with Crow having finished their starter base, I just sort of want to get in the realm of wrapping up the beginning builds and focusing on the bigger picture. My thought process is to set a boundary. In doing so, I'm thinking of building a giant wall, and it's going to come up and around and cut through this bay, because this bay leads into a river, which then cycles back out into the ocean that comes around to where we've already been building. So if I were to build a wall on this side, cutting around maybe right about here, and then coming around and looping, and we try and loop it up into this snowy mountain, maybe through here, and then down the other side, we just might have ourselves the makings of a mega base. So that's sort of what I'm thinking moving forward, and it's sort of going to inform my decision making with builds in the upcoming episodes. But first things first, we've got several of these wool outlines that we need to start putting some more detailing on, make actual builds and actual structures out of these, and then start connecting these areas with roads. I'm just starting to think that this whole area is going to become a sort of village or a town or a city, and it's going to, I'm trying to make it as detailed as possible in this vast area. In my opinion, this isn't even done yet, like not even close. I still have a bunch of detailing to do there. I mean, the floor is still grass. There's a lot to come in this base, but I want to start getting towards what we consider to be the mega base portion of our builds on this world. So with that in mind, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.